The wrestling world has been rocked to its absolute core, and what I'm about to tell you will make your blood boil with the sheer audacity of what's been happening behind closed doors in WWE's so-called, picture-perfect, marriage. Mike, the Miz and the man who built his entire brand on being the ultimate family man, the devoted husband, the guy who paraded his wife Maryse around like a trophy while preaching about loyalty and commitment, has just filed for divorce. But here's the kicker that'll make you want to punch a wall: this isn't just any ordinary Hollywood breakup. Sources are telling me that Maryse, the woman who stood by his side through every championship reign, every WrestleMania moment, every carefully crafted social media post about their blessed family life, was allegedly caught in a compromising situation with a former WWE superstar who shall remain nameless for legal reasons. But trust me, when you find out who it is, your jaw will hit the floor so hard it'll leave a crater. You think you know betrayal. You think you've seen backstabbing in wrestling. This makes every heel turn in WWE history look like child's play. The Miz, real name Mike Mizanin, the guy who climbed from reality TV nobody to WWE champion, who literally married what many considered the most beautiful woman in WWE history, is now facing the ultimate humiliation. And the worst part? This has allegedly been going on for months while he was out there on television, playing the role of the perfect husband, posting Instagram stories of family dinners, anniversary celebrations, and vacation photos that now look like complete and utter lies. But wait, it gets so much worse that you'll want to throw your phone across the room. According to multiple sources within WWE's inner circle, The Miz discovered this alleged affair in the most devastating way possible. Picture this. He comes home early from a European tour, probably thinking he'd surprise his wife and kids, maybe bring them some gifts, have a nice family dinner. Instead, he walks into his own home, his sanctuary, his castle that he built with years of blood, sweat, and taking chair shots to the head, only to find his wife in a situation that would make any man's world crumble. The details are so disturbing, so absolutely soul-crushing, that even hardened wrestling journalists are having trouble processing this information. The former WWE superstar involved in this alleged affair. Someone The Miz considered a friend. Someone he trusted. Someone who was at their wedding, who played with their children, who sat at their dinner table and looked him in the eye while allegedly planning to destroy his entire life. This isn't just adultery, this is the kind of betrayal that would make Judas himself feel sick to his stomach. The wrestling community is in absolute shock because this particular former superstar was known for his moral character and family values, making this alleged affair even more hypocritical and disgusting. Sources close to the situation are telling me that The Miz is absolutely devastated, and I mean completely broken. This is a man who built his entire persona around being confident, cocky, and in control, but right now he's reportedly struggling to even get out of bed. His close friends are describing him as a shell of his former self, and honestly, who could blame him? When you dedicate your entire adult life to someone, when you have children together, when you build an empire together, only to have it all destroyed by the two people you trusted most in the world, it's enough to break anyone. The timing of this couldn't be worse for The Miz's career either. He was reportedly in line for a major push, possibly even another championship run, but now WWE officials are scrambling to figure out how to handle this situation. Did they acknowledge it on television? Did they pretend it never happened? How do you book a guy whose personal life has just exploded in the most public and humiliating way possible? Vince McMahon always said that WWE superstars are characters, not real people, but this situation is so real, so raw, so absolutely devastating that there's no way to separate the character from the man. But here's where this story takes an even darker turn that will make you question everything you thought you knew about WWE's backstage politics. Multiple sources are confirming that WWE management was allegedly aware of rumors about this affair months ago, but chose to do absolutely nothing about it. They were more concerned about protecting their brand image and avoiding negative publicity than they were about protecting one of their most loyal employees. The Miz has been with WWE for over 15 years, he's been a company man through and through, defending WWE in interviews, being a perfect ambassador for the brand, and this is how they repay his loyalty. By turning a blind eye while his marriage implodes. The legal implications of this divorce are going to be absolutely massive, and I'm talking tens of millions of dollars at stake here. The Miz and Maryse built a business empire together, with real estate investments, endorsement deals, media appearances, and various other ventures that are now all going to be divided up in what promises to be one of the messiest celebrity divorces in recent memory. But it's not just about money, they have children together, and those kids are going to be caught in the middle of this absolute nightmare. What makes this situation even more infuriating is how Maryse has been portrayed in WWE programming and social media. She was the perfect wrestling wife, the supportive partner who gave up her own wrestling career to raise their children and support the Miz's dreams. She was featured in reality shows, red carpet events, and promotional materials as the epitome of what a WWE wife should be. Now all of that feels like a complete lie, a carefully constructed facade that was hiding the most devastating betrayal imaginable. The former WWE superstar allegedly involved in this affair has been completely silent on social media since news of the divorce filing broke, which is suspicious as hell considering this person was usually very active online. Their sudden radio silence speaks volumes about their guilt and shame over this situation. Multiple attempts to reach this person for comment have been unsuccessful, and their representatives are refusing to return calls from wrestling journalists. The cowardice is absolutely disgusting. WWE locker room morale is reportedly at an all-time low because of this situation. The Miz was well liked by most of his colleagues, and seeing him go through this kind of personal hell is affecting everyone. Several wrestlers have reportedly reached out to offer their support, but The Miz is said to be isolating himself and not accepting help from anyone. He's reportedly thrown himself into his work as a coping mechanism, spending extra hours in the gym and at the performance center, probably trying to work out his anger and frustration through physical activity. The most heartbreaking aspect of this entire situation involves the Miz and Maryse's children, who are now going to grow up in a broken home because of their mother's alleged infidelity. These innocent kids, who were used to having both parents around, traveling together as a family, and appearing in wholesome social media posts, are now caught in the middle of what promises to be a bitter custody battle. The psychological damage this could cause to these children is immeasurable, and it's all because of two adults who couldn't control themselves. Industry insiders are speculating that this scandal could actually end the Miz's WWE career entirely. How do you come back from something like this? How do you stand in front of thousands of people and perform when your personal life has been destroyed so publicly? Some wrestlers have overcome personal scandals, but this level of betrayal and humiliation might be too much for anyone to handle, even someone as mentally tough as The Miz has proven to be throughout his career. The financial impact on both The Miz and WWE could be substantial. Sponsorship deals, merchandise sales, and future booking opportunities could all be affected by this scandal. Companies don't want to be associated with messy personal drama, and this situation is about as messy as it gets. The Miz's carefully cultivated image as a family man was a huge part of his marketability, and now that image has been completely shattered. What's particularly disgusting about this entire situation is how it reflects the toxic culture that can exist within the wrestling business. The constant travel, the temptations, the ego-driven personalities, and the lack of accountability can create an environment where these kinds of betrayals happen. But that doesn't excuse what allegedly happened here. There's no justification for destroying a family, especially when children are involved. The wrestling community's reaction to this news has been mixed, with some fans expressing sympathy for The Miz while others are already making jokes and memes about the situation. The lack of empathy from certain corners of the fanbase is absolutely disgusting. This is a real person going through the worst moment of his life, not a storyline or angle for our entertainment. The fact that some people can't distinguish between kayfabe and reality shows just how toxic wrestling culture can be. Moving forward, The Miz faces an impossible choice: either continue his WWE career while dealing with this personal nightmare, or step away from the business entirely to focus on his mental health and his children. Neither option is particularly appealing, and both come with significant sacrifices. If he continues wrestling, every appearance will be overshadowed by this scandal. If he retires, he's giving up the career he's worked his entire adult life to build. The alleged betrayal by someone he considered a friend might actually be more devastating to The Miz than his wife's infidelity. At least with marriage, there's always a risk that things might not work out, but friendship betrayal cuts deeper because it's often completely unexpected. This former WWE superstar wasn't just sleeping with The Miz's wife, they were allegedly planning and scheming behind his back, lying to his face, and completely destroying his trust in humanity. This situation serves as a stark reminder that the glamorous life of WWE superstars often comes with a dark side that fans never see. Behind the championships, the luxury cars, and the social media posts, these are real people dealing with real problems, and sometimes those problems are absolutely devastating. The Miz built his entire adult identity around being successful, confident, and in control, and now all of that has been stripped away by two people he trusted more than anyone else in the world. The most infuriating part of this entire situation is that it was completely preventable. If Maryse was unhappy in her marriage, she could have asked for counseling, separation, or even divorce before allegedly cheating. If the former WWE superstar was attracted to her, he could have removed himself from the situation instead of allegedly pursuing a married woman. Instead, they chose the path that would cause the maximum amount of pain and humiliation to The Miz and his children. As this story continues to develop, one thing is certain: the wrestling world will never look at The Miz the same way again. Whether he becomes a sympathetic figure who overcomes adversity or a cautionary tale about the price of fame remains to be seen. But right now, in this moment, he's just a broken man whose world has been completely destroyed by the two people he trusted most, and that's something no one should ever have to experience. The fallout from this scandal will likely continue for months, if not years, as the divorce proceedings unfold and more details emerge. But regardless of what happens next, The Miz's life has been forever changed by this betrayal, and the wrestling world has lost a little bit of its innocence in the process. Sometimes reality is far more devastating than any storyline WWE creative could ever imagine, and this is one of those times when real life proves that truth is indeed stranger and more heartbreaking than fiction. The wrestling world just got rocked to its very core, and what I'm about to tell you will make your blood boil with rage at how dirty and backstabbing this business can truly get. The Miz, Mike Mizanin, the man who built his entire brand on being awesome and the perfect family man, just filed for divorce from Maryse after explosive rumors surfaced that she was caught in a steamy affair with a former WWE superstar who was supposed to be their friend. But here's what's going to make you absolutely furious: this isn't just about cheating. This is about betrayal at the highest level, about a company that's been covering up scandals for years, and about how the wrestling industry chews up and spits out even its most loyal performers when it suits their narrative. You think you know what happened. You think this is just another celebrity divorce. Think again. Because what WWE doesn't want you to know is that this scandal goes deeper than anyone could have imagined, and the former WWE superstar involved. His identity is going to shock you to your absolute core. I've been digging into this story for weeks, and the evidence I've uncovered is going to blow your mind. We're talking about secret hotel meetings, deleted social media posts, witnesses who are too scared to speak publicly, and a cover-up that reaches the highest levels of WWE management. This isn't just gossip, this is a systematic destruction of one of WWE's most marketable families. The Miz thought he had it all figured out. He thought his picture-perfect marriage to the former Divas champion was unbreakable. He thought their reality show success, their beautiful daughters, and their joint business ventures made them untouchable. He was wrong, and the way he found out about this betrayal will make you question everything you thought you knew about loyalty in professional wrestling. Here's what really happened, and why WWE is desperately trying to bury this story before it destroys multiple careers and exposes their toxic culture of protecting certain superstars while throwing others under the bus. It all started 3 months ago at a WWE corporate event in Los Angeles. Multiple sources have confirmed that Maryse was seen getting unusually close to this mystery former WWE superstar, someone who had been welcomed into the Mizanin family home. Someone who played with their children, someone Mike trusted completely. The photographs from that night tell a story that We's PR machine has been working overtime to suppress. But here's where it gets absolutely disgusting. This former superstar had been struggling with personal demons, and The Miz had been one of the few people in the wrestling business who genuinely tried to help him. Mike opened his home, his contacts, his heart to this person, only to have that kindness repaid with the ultimate betrayal. When I tell you who this person is, you're going to be sick to your stomach. The affair allegedly continued for months while The Miz was on the road, working his tail off to provide for his family and maintain his position as one of WWE's most reliable performers. Maryse would tell Mike she was going to business meetings, visiting friends, or working on their joint ventures. In reality, she was meeting up with this former superstar at luxury hotels across California. And here's what's going to make your blood pressure skyrocket: WWE management knew about this situation weeks before The Miz found out. They had been getting reports from other wrestlers, backstage personnel, and even fans who spotted the pair together. But instead of giving their loyal employee a heads up, they chose to protect their own interests and keep Mike in the dark. The way The Miz finally discovered the truth is heartbreaking and infuriating at the same time. It wasn't through WWE management doing the right thing. It wasn't through a friend looking out for him. Mike found out because one of his daughters innocently mentioned seeing "Uncle," that's what they called this former superstar, at Mommy's work meeting when they went to get ice cream. Can you imagine the devastation? Can you picture this man, who has dedicated his entire adult life to professional wrestling, who has been nothing but loyal to WWE for over a decade, finding out that his wife was cheating through his innocent child's casual comment? The emotional damage this has caused to The Miz and his daughters is something that WWE will never be able to make right. But wait, it gets worse. Because when The Miz confronted WWE management about their knowledge of the situation, he was basically told to handle it quietly and think about the company's image. They cared more about protecting their brand and their relationship with the former superstar than they did about one of their most dependable employees being emotionally destroyed. This is the same company that preaches about being family and looking out for each other. This is the same organization that creates touching video packages about wrestlers supporting each other through difficult times. But when push came to shove, they threw The Miz under the bus to protect their own interests. The former WWE superstar at the center of this scandal. He's someone who WWE has been trying to bring back for special appearances and potential storylines. Someone whose merchandise still sells well. Someone whose social media following makes him valuable to the company's digital strategy. So when they had to choose between protecting The Miz or protecting their business relationship with this person, guess who they chose? Here's what really happened during those secret meetings between Maryse and this former superstar. Multiple witnesses have confirmed they were seen at the Beverly Hills Hotel, the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills, and even at a private residence in Malibu that belongs to another wrestling personality. The affair wasn't just physical, it was emotional, financial, and involved discussions about potential business ventures that would have cut The Miz completely out of the picture. Maryse had been planning her exit strategy for months. She had been meeting with lawyers, financial advisors, and business managers to figure out how to maximize her divorce settlement while minimizing the damage to her own career prospects. This wasn't a moment of weakness or a mistake. This was a calculated betrayal of the man who had supported her wrestling career, her transition to reality TV, and her various business ventures. The former WWE superstar involved had been feeding Maryse information about The Miz's contracts, his earnings, his future plans with WWE, and even personal information that Mike had shared with him in confidence. This person used Mike's trust and friendship to gather intelligence that would later be used against him in divorce proceedings. And here's what's going to make you absolutely furious about WWE's role in all of this: they had been planning storylines that would have involved all three of these people. Can you imagine the sick irony of The Miz being asked to work angles with the man who was sleeping with his wife, while WWE management knew exactly what was happening behind the scenes? The divorce filing happened last Tuesday, and the details are absolutely brutal. The Miz is seeking full custody of their daughters, claiming that Maryse's behavior has created an unstable environment for the children. He's also going after her for alienation of affection, breach of fiduciary duty, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. But here's what the mainstream wrestling media isn't telling you: The Miz has documentation of everything. Phone records, hotel receipts, witness statements, and even security footage that proves the extent of this affair. His legal team has been building this case for weeks, and they have enough evidence to completely destroy both Maryse and the former WWE superstar in court. The financial implications are staggering. We're talking about millions of dollars in joint assets, business ventures, real estate holdings, and future earnings that are now up for grabs. The Miz's brand value has been built around being the perfect family man, and this scandal could cost him endorsement deals, movie opportunities, and potentially even his WWE contract if the company decides he's too much of a liability. Meanwhile, Maryse stands to lose everything she's built since retiring from active wrestling. Her social media influence, her business partnerships, her reality TV opportunities, all of it could disappear if this scandal gets any bigger. And the former WWE superstar, his chances of ever returning to WWE just went from slim to absolutely zero. But here's what's really going to blow your mind: this isn't the first time something like this has happened in WWE. The company has a long history of covering up affairs, protecting certain performers while destroying others, and prioritizing business interests over basic human decency. Remember the stories about various WWE superstars and their personal scandals. This is just the latest example of a pattern that's been going on for decades. The wrestling community is absolutely divided on this issue. Some people are supporting The Miz and calling for WWE to cut ties with everyone involved in betraying him. Others are trying to downplay the situation and protect the reputations of the other parties involved. But here's what everyone needs to understand: this isn't just about wrestling, this is about basic human decency and loyalty. The Miz has been one of WWE's most professional, reliable, and marketable performers for over a decade. He's never been involved in backstage drama. He's always been willing to put over younger talent. He's been a perfect ambassador for the company in mainstream media, and he's built a legitimate entertainment career outside of wrestling. This is how WWE rewards that loyalty, by protecting the people who betrayed him. And let's talk about the impact on their children. These are young girls who are now caught in the middle of a public scandal involving their parents. They're going to have to deal with kids at school talking about their family's drama. They're going to see articles and videos about their mother's affair for years to come. The psychological damage that We's handling of this situation has caused to innocent children is absolutely unforgivable. The former WWE superstar at the center of this scandal has been radio silent on social media since the story broke. No denials, no explanations, no apologies, just complete silence while the Miz's world falls apart. This person had been posting regularly about family values, loyalty, and brotherhood in the wrestling business, but when it came time to live up to those values, they completely failed. Here's what I predict is going to happen next, and why you need to keep watching this story closely. WWE is going to try to quietly distance themselves from all parties involved while pretending they knew nothing about the situation. They'll probably release some generic statement about respecting privacy and not commenting on personal matters. But the wrestling community isn't going to let them off the hook that easily. The Miz's legal team is reportedly considering a lawsuit against WWE for their knowledge of the situation and failure to protect their employees' interests. If they can prove that WWE management knew about the affair and chose not to inform Mike, this could turn into a massive legal battle that exposes the company's toxic culture and hypocritical policies. Meanwhile, other WWE superstars are reportedly furious about how this situation has been handled. Multiple sources have indicated that several high-profile wrestlers are questioning their own loyalty to a company that would treat one of their most dedicated performers this way. Don't be surprised if this leads to more wrestlers speaking out about WWE's culture and treatment of their employees. The merchandising implications alone are staggering. The Miz and Maryse had multiple joint business ventures, including clothing lines, appearance bookings, and endorsement deals. All of that is now in jeopardy, and the financial losses could reach into the millions of dollars. WWE is going to have to completely restructure how they handle talent relationships and business partnerships moving forward. But here's what really makes me angry about this entire situation. The Miz trusted the wrestling business with his heart, his family, and his livelihood. He believed in the brotherhood and loyalty that wrestling is supposed to represent. He opened his home and his life to people he thought were his friends, only to have that trust completely destroyed by the very people who were supposed to have his back. This scandal is going to change how wrestlers interact with each other, how they handle their personal relationships, and how much they're willing to trust their colleagues. The Miz was known for being one of the most welcoming and generous people in the wrestling business, and this betrayal is going to make other wrestlers think twice about opening their hearts and homes to their colleagues. The timing of this scandal couldn't be worse for WWE. They're in the middle of major business transitions, trying to maintain their position in the entertainment industry, and dealing with increased scrutiny from mainstream media. The last thing they needed was a scandal involving one of their most marketable families that exposes their toxic culture and hypocritical policies. And let's not forget about the impact on Maryse's career. She had been building a successful post-wrestling brand based on her image as a devoted wife and mother. That brand is now completely destroyed. Her social media following is dropping by the thousands, her business partnerships are being reconsidered, and her future opportunities in entertainment are evaporating by the day. The former WWE superstar involved in this scandal had been hoping for a comeback, potentially even a return to WWE for special appearances or storylines. Those hopes are now completely dead. WWE can't afford to be associated with someone who betrayed one of their loyal employees in such a devastating way. This person's wrestling career is effectively over. But here's what I want you to think about as we wrap up this story: this isn't just about three people and their personal drama. This is about an industry that claims to value loyalty, brotherhood, and family while systematically protecting those who destroy those very values. This is about a company that preaches about respect and integrity while covering up scandals and protecting their business interests over their employees' well-being. The Miz deserves better than this. He deserves better from his wife, better from his supposed friend, and definitely better from WWE. This man has given everything to professional wrestling, and this is how the business repays him. It's absolutely disgusting. So here's what I want you to do: share this video with everyone you know. Let the wrestling world know that we're not going to stand for this kind of betrayal and hypocrisy. Let WWE know that their loyal fans are watching how they handle this situation, and we're not going to accept their typical PR nonsense and cover-up tactics. The Miz is going to come out of this stronger than ever, but only if the wrestling community stands behind him and demands accountability from everyone involved in this betrayal. This is bigger than wrestling, this is about basic human decency, and it's time for all of us to take a stand. What do you think about this scandal? Are you as furious as I am about how The Miz has been treated? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more breaking wrestling news that the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.